Hello, this is Craig Haverback. I'm the Vice President of Strategic Planning and Marketing here at Magellan Strategies. Welcome to all our viewers. This is a new format we're showcasing, the Retrospective. I'm joined by our Director of Data Analysis, Ryan Winger.
Thanks, Craig. Look forward to talking with you and just showcasing a little bit of the work that we did last year and how we can just help a lot of clients moving forward from what we learned.
Absolutely. You know, a retrospective is done when a big project finishes. In this case, we want to look back at our 2021 ballot measure successes. And it's easy to get caught up in what comes next, quickly shifting gears to focus on the next project. But a project retrospective is an opportunity to discuss what worked and where improvements can be made to benefit you, our customers. We use this process to celebrate wins, but really to examine our projects, all with the goal of growing and improving as we move forward into 2022 and beyond. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit about the kind of work we do at Magellan. We conduct community surveys for local governments and school districts, as well as public policy and issue surveys. But today we are going to focus on the success we had in 2021 managing projects that were ballot measure surveys. So in a nutshell, these are surveys done when a local government and or school district has a new or shifting priority that now has capital projects that need to be funded by, say, a sales tax, a mill levy, and or a debt increase. Correct, Ryan?
Yeah. So really, I mean, anytime a specific need is realized by a municipality or a special district or a school district, you got to figure out how to fund it, right? You got to figure out where the money is going to come from. Sometimes a sales tax is an option in a lot of cases, but for our school district clients, sales tax isn't an option. So you're really looking at a mill levy or a property tax increase, right. Or you're looking at a bond measure to just increase debt to get you what you need. And so that's what we really enjoy is we enjoy taking on these challenging projects, looking forward to November and knowing that, okay, we've got to get the money that our clients need in order to continue the services that they need to provide.
Yeah. And, in 2021, again, for our audience, we accurately predicted the win-loss outcome of all 11 ballot measure elections that we managed. And this is just a look at, here are the first 5, and then just moving through our successes here, that we had 11 different local governments, municipalities that we supported. And we're just going to showcase a few of them today. But right now, let's just start off with the success that we had with the town of Monument. So Ryan, what can you tell us about what happened here? Because from what I recall, they were looking for a sales tax increase to fund certain capabilities in their community. What was it about this project that was such a success for them and for us?
Yeah. So what was unique, but not all that unique in the town of Monument is that they had actually tried in 2020 to pass this ballot measure, like you said, a sales tax increase to increase police funding for their police department, and it had come up short. And so they had come to us just basically with the idea that, okay, we got to figure out why. We got to figure out why this came up short and what we may need to do differently going forward. And really what we found in the survey is that, like in a lot of cases in pretty much any community, but especially a conservative community, there are a certain segment of voters that are just going to say, I voted no because taxes are already too high. I don't want more taxes. Right. And that's fine. But what we also found is that there were a lot of respondents that just didn't have the information about the ballot measure. Right. And so the point of the survey was for us to really get into that and figure out, okay, looking forward, as you're educating respondents about this ballot measure, what is it that you need to let them know? And when you're talking about a police department, it's stuff that people really understand, and that it's really a felt need in a lot of cases. You're getting longer response times. You're getting the department struggling to really deal with or handle more than one call at a time. They don't have the ability to really be linked to other law enforcement agencies in El Paso County because they need just updates to their system or their arrest data. Just things like that people, once they understand that information, they're more than happy to support the ask. And that's what we found in the survey. But what had happened the year before is that information wasn't out there. And so the point of the survey was to really figure out, okay, let's lay this all out. Right. Let's lay out for respondents what they need to know. And like you said, luckily, what we saw in that previous slide, we ended up being very close to accurately projecting, where it went from a loss to a 63% win.
Yeah, I was going to say the accuracy on this particular one, where we were just off by 1 or 2%. What can you tell me about the value in knowing that, for the town of Monument, for us, in terms of predicting the success at the ballot box?
Sure. Yeah, and I think a lot of times what happens, or when a poll ends up being inaccurate, right, is that the pollster just doesn't have a sense of what the electorate is actually going to look like. And that's something that we really pride ourselves on. Like, we're never guessing what turnout is going to look like. We have a very data-driven approach that looks back at past turnout and really helps us to accurately project. Okay, it's one thing if you just get a bunch of responses to a poll, but if you're not weighting it correctly, if they don't accurately match what turnout is actually going to look like in November, you're probably going to be off. And so I think the accuracy is really just a testament, one, to this exciting development that we have in our new methodology, where we're sending the text messages to voters. What this clearly showed is that is capable of generating those accurate results when it's combined with accurate data and knowing exactly who's going to vote.
Excellent. Well said. I could not agree more. And so just moving us along here in our discussion of the successes from last year, let's talk a little bit about the town of Vail, because they have been experiencing issues with affordable housing due to a myriad of circumstances, not least of which has been more people being able to move to mountain resort towns due to COVID-19 and being able to work from home. So why not live in a beautiful location? But that has unintended consequences. So there's a lot to this story, and you were deeply involved in this project. So can you lay it all out for us?
Yeah. So really, what the town of Vail is dealing with is a very kind of acute problem with affordable housing, right? And we know, I mean, if you follow, what's going on really around the state of Colorado and all kinds of different communities, affordable housing is really a major issue. But in a place like Vail, it's particularly serious. This lack of affordable housing and lack of an ability for workers and employees in the town to even be afford to live anywhere near where their place of employment. And so what we found in the survey is that 61% of respondents thought, yes, this is a big problem, this lack of affordable housing. And that was actually an increase from 51% that we had measured in June of 2019. And so clearly, the issue is not getting better. And to your point, Craig, because of COVID, it was only exacerbated. But what we really found too is that among respondents who are aged 18 to 44, over 80% thought that was a big problem, this lack of affordable housing, and that's who's really getting crunched by this. It's the really to a town like Vail, those kind of employees in a tourism-based economy are just so vital to the lifeblood of the town, and they're the ones who are feeling this most seriously.
Well, it's interesting you bring up that age demographic there, because I have to imagine that to get to that type of data, that type of information about what those people are thinking, that's not necessarily something that could probably be gotten from a paper survey. So put in context for us the value of an MMS texting approach versus maybe what somebody else might have gotten from paper.
Sure. Yeah. The town of Vail is a perfect example of kind of the limitations of a paper mail survey, but honestly also just of a live telephone survey, because it's very expensive. And in a
Sure.
place like Vail, as much as you can, if you're able to get those voters, those younger voters who make up a significant portion of the population, if you're able to get them online where they're comfortable taking a survey on their phone, you really can get a sense of their feelings and frustrations around this issue, and really just kind of help to move them along in the process of okay, here's what we're proposing. It's a sales tax increase, but guess what? It doesn't apply to food or groceries. Okay, that's great. It's kind of meeting them where they're at, and really trying to get an accurate measurement of the town, and not just a certain group of voters who may be likely to complete a paper mail survey, but it's not going to give you an accurate representation of everyone who actually resides in the town of Vail.
Exactly, and that's what I would have thought. And so that's great work. And of course, the town of Vail now has a $3.5 million dedicated funding source to address affordable housing. So just moving us along here to highlight one of our other victories from 2021 is the work that we did in Mesa County. So they needed money for a new high school. And from what I understand, this enjoyed great support. But was it a for sure win? What did we do to help attain this victory for the kids, the teachers, and the community?
Yeah, so I think you can say, from the beginning, it wasn't always certain that it was going to win. And, it's a great credit to the campaign that followed after our survey, that really was kind of galvanized and got the community behind this. Because similar to the first project we talked about in the town of Monument, what had happened was in 2019, the school district had gone to voters with an ask that was actually $60 million more than their ask this past year, and that had failed. And so what we really did in our survey is we helped them to kind of right size that ask to voters, right?
Mm-hmm.
We helped them to narrow the focus to, okay, it's just a new high school. Everyone can kind of wrap their brains around that. Everyone knows what that means. Okay, yep, we need a new high school because the original Grand Junction High School was built in 1956, right? Like when people hear that kind of data, they're like, or that kind of information, they think, yeah, no, that makes sense. We do need a new high school. But what had happened 2 years ago or 3 years ago in 2019 is that there was just there was other maintenance, other things included in the ask that when you added it all up, it just made it a big ask especially for a more conservative community. And so what we really did, what we helped them to do in the survey is just to kind of narrow it down, let voters know that, hey, we listened to the feedback from 2019, and here's what we're coming back with. We're coming back with, let's just build this new high school. And then for other maintenance needs, other things we need, we can always go back down the road. But let's get this done because we know it's vital for our community. And thankfully the voters really responded to that. They were appreciative of that. Just the idea that the district had listened and not come back with the exact same ask, just repeatedly, banging your head against the wall, trying to do the same thing. Really just learning from voters what worked, what didn't work, what they'd like to see changed. And ultimately, it was very successful come November.
Okay, so it wasn't just the survey that we did in support of this overall effort. We were involved in really the campaign and helping them to draft the ballot language. Is that fair?
Yeah. So really, just helping them to make the ballot language as clear and concise as possible. We all know that because of Tabor, there's certain limitations to how clear you can make ballot language, but it's always been our experience that the simpler you can make it while also including all of the information that the voters need to know. And so that was what was great about this project is it was just a new high school. Like that's very easy to understand. And so we again, we just kind of help them craft that. We help them just get down to brass tacks, really, of what voters would support. A very simple, not complicated at all. Let's go forward. Let's do this. And again, it was successful in November.
And one last point on this, I guess, using our MMS texting approach and methodology, we were able to get a lot of qualitative information from people. People were able to participate in the survey and really tell us this through the survey, which led to the better crafting of the ballot language. Is that also fair to say?
Yeah, so that's what's really great about the MMS text methodology in a large district like Mesa County, District 51, is you can get just so much data that is just rich with information, verbatim responses about why people support it, why they don't support it, that you really just can't get any other way. It just really it was a great fit for this project, and we're excited moving forward to just kind of deploy this in other areas where there's just that really need for that significant amount of qualitative information that can help guide you towards what you're ultimately going to need in the future.
Exactly. Well, that's awesome, Ryan. So I just want to thank you for joining me today, and that really does it for us today. I learned a lot, and I hope that all of you did too. Just a reminder that we are right here in Louisville, Colorado, and we do work all across the state in large and small communities to help you with community surveys, public policy and issue surveys, and of course, ballot measure surveys, for which it is never too early to start on for 2022. So check out the rest of our posted videos. And of course, feel free to contact us to start the conversation about your upcoming ballot measure or other polling needs. So thank you very much.
Yeah, right. Right now, as we record this, it is that time. It's that time to start thinking about November. And so definitely, thanks for your time. Thanks for watching us today, and give us a call, reach out for whatever you may need. We are here to help, and we have a lot of experience working in all kinds of different communities, tackling unique problems that come before you. So let's have a talk.
All right. We'll see you next time. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks all.